illustrator Asia Simone.
Hi.
And we'll go with the first question from one of our outlets.
Carnoholics and Carnoholic Pictures. So, it's been 20 years for Momocon. Now, being a con goer and being a guest, what has stood out to you over the years?
In terms of just doing cons in general?
Yes.
Well, let's see. It's a lot of logistics, so I feel for the organizers. It's a pretty intense kind of thing to do on a consistent basis. It's funny because I never thought I was gonna get into cons, never thought I would like doing conventions, but I've come to like enjoy them a whole lot. Meeting more people, even like getting to know the organizers, and just getting a better feel for like all the work that they put into it. So I think I have much more of appreciation for like what goes into cons, and then like what then the audience gets to get out of it, and how much the organizers put in to give a good experience to the audience.
Hi, Elder Geek Sam from Grown A Geeks. As a comic artist, what are the steps to getting involved with some of the more popular mainstream comics? When you're an actor, you go to an audition. How does one become a comic artist?
Well, it's interesting because like if you ask any comic artist, we all say no one got in the same way, everyone got in their weird curmudgeon of a story. But in terms of like a very typical way is to come to these conventions, and oftentimes there's going to be editors for those big publishers like Marvel, DC, or any other. There's usually going to be editors here, and usually editors will give portfolio reviews. So that's a great way to make your way into specifically the big names, because oftentimes the big companies also don't accept any submissions, so it's kind of hard to find a way to figure out how you get in there. But then besides that, I don't know if anyone ever says it, but fan art is always a great way to go. I know people who got like their big break with these big companies because they were doing fun art of those companies. So
The JV versus the world. What is your nerdy origin story?
like how do I become a nerd? Like what was the
like from your youth to now. Like what got you into it? What got you to the space? What got you in love with it?
Well, I actually just did the Saturday morning reading panel yesterday, and that pretty much is how I became a nerd. I just love cartoons, and I grew up watching cartoons with my big brother, like every day. So I just knew that I wanted to make art like that, and since then I just keep adding things to my plate. So then I found manga in like 6th grade. So then I started watching anime very heavy, and I made my way over to the superheroes later. I got around there, okay? MC, I'm not gonna lie, MC helped me out. That's how I got to my Marvel. So yeah, so I've just been collecting my nerdom since. I also love games. My brother is like a really big gamer, so I just have a love for all nerd culture. Yeah.
Now, how would you describe your art style?
I definitely would say that my art is an amalgamation of a lot of cartoons. Those are all my big inspirations. I always give praise to like One Piece for facial expressions. I'm a big fan of Giant Days. I keep checking out Giant Days, but it's like one of my favorite comics ever from Boom Studios. I'm a big fan of how that takes like a very like animated style and bring it to the world of comics and how expressive that is. But yeah, I really look to cartoons and animation as my big inspiration, and I like to bring that into comics.
So you have your bachelor's in illustration and a minor in creative writing. How much does that play a role into your current work?
Well, definitely my illustration major plays a huge role. It's pretty much everything I've learned in school is what I bring to the table as I work now. I was thankful I went to University of the Arts before it just closed on everybody suddenly. So yes, I went to University of the Arts. It was a great school when I was there. The illustration major was absolutely fantastic. I mean, I actually learned a lot. We had a large focus on what it meant to be doing art full time. So I felt very prepared for the world coming out of college. But also my creative writing minor, I really hope to start working on my own comic soon. So I'm trying to take like what I've learned from the creative writing process and bringing that to the tables hopefully soon.
Matt Jenkins from the Moana Nui Podcast Network. Obviously, for any of your projects, your main characters have to have a certain look to them. Do you ever find for any of your ancillary characters, you may pull from just like real people in your life to say, all right, well, this is just a background character. They'll be on a couple pages, and you may say, hey, there's a person who had an impact on my life. let me kind of weave them in for as much of that as you can do.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself doing that for your ancillary characters?
It's something that I think about doing, or something that I've like wanted to do, but I'm not gonna lie, all my projects I've been on like the craziest time crunches. So I'm just like, let me just get those done, let me just put something he has a shirt on and just keep it quick. So I haven't really gotten a chance to like, do anything like that, but it is something I always think about that I want to do. Yeah. Yeah.
JB again. What goes into dealing with creative blocks? Like, how often do you experience them? How do you get past them? Is there anything common that you need to do to get past those blocks?
In terms of, I feel like, yeah, I guess I come into creative blocks. I don't know if they last me too long. Like art in general is very therapeutic for me, so I'm kind of that person who's kind of like always drawing. But I would say like keeping up on visual research is what stops me from having or drawing blocks at least. Pinterest is my best friend, and I have like thousands upon thousands of pictures and images collected. So I always just like do like if not Pinterest, I go to like Instagram or something, like see what other artists are doing, or like if there's something I haven't thought of before, or just going to Pinterest to see like what's a vibe or image that just like gives me energy, and like see if I can recreate something similar. Yeah.
Joy with Mon and Newly Podcast. So I'm wondering what projects or collaborations might be on your wish list, like something you haven't worked with yet, but that you would love to collaborate with somebody, artist, entity, IP, etc.
Yeah. I Adventure Times checked off the list, so I did that one. So I'm super happy about that. I would love to do anything Scott Pilgrim ever at all. It would be so much fun. I'd love to do anything Scott Pilgrim. That would make me so happy. Yeah. Yeah.
Elder Geek Sam again, Grody Geeks. A friend of mine who is an artist and quite talented in his own right goes through a daily warm-up with his art. Without giving, I guess, specifics, is there a routine that you use daily to maybe keep that art muscle going?
No, not. I mean, it's something I've been wanting to implement, but also I'm just coming off the backs of working as a full-time teacher. So I feel like I've struggled to have like a typical like morning routine when it comes to my art. But I think I would say one thing I always gravitate towards though, if I just need to do a warm up, is character design. Like I just love designing. Like right now, I'm like in the process of drawing like a human version of a lumpy space princess from Adventure Time, because I was like, that sounds fun. So I usually end up doing something like that. Yeah.
If you could tell your younger self something without changing the path you had went on, what would you say to yourself?
You don't have to create a big epic story to be a creator or a storyteller. I feel like a lot of young storytellers want to create this like gigantic big epic, and I forget when I kind of realized like not that that's not going to happen, but that it's going to happen when it happens. So just like not beating yourself up on this idea of creating like this big, you're going to make this huge project. It's like just draw, just have fun. If you got a story, make it. But, always have grace for yourself. Yeah.
What advice do you have for aspiring artists, creatives that want to be where you are one day?
Stick to the thing that you like. Whatever it is you like to draw it. If you want to draw anime, do it. If you want to do something cartoony, do that. If you want to go realistic and be painterly, then do it. Like I will say that was the other thing about my schooling, that I was very lucky. We were taught at University Arts that whatever it is that you want to do, or whatever comes natural to you, is going to shine through your art. And so like that's kind of the reason I ended up picking that school. Like all of our art looked different. There wasn't a class like style. We all had completely different styles, but it's because we were told to make art that was true to ourselves. Yeah.
I noticed you mentioned earlier that drawing is therapeutic for you, especially the time packs that you got to get through. What do you enjoy outside of drawing?
I love singing and writing music and making music. So like I produce music on like Logic Pro, and that's like my little hobby that no one ever knows about. but I love singing and making music. Yeah.
So beside of that, I'm kind of piggyback off that. What are your comfort shows in anime?
One Piece, Hunter x Hunter. I've watched Hunter x Hunter so many times. Like, I think I'm like going. If I start watching it again, I'm gonna be on time like 25. Like I just keep rewatching the show. So those two. I'm just trying to see if I can pick a third. I can't. Maybe Blue Lock. I really like watching Blue Lock. It's so fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Last question.
Really good. Elder Geek Sam, two-part question. One, is there a favorite project art style that you've had? And second part of the question, what is your favorite project thus far?
So for the first question, do you mean like just a story that's been created that I really like, or what do you mean?
Specifically to, with your art style being an amalgamation of
Right.
what you've, was there an art style that you found easier and more enjoyable?
Oh, that's really tough. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can answer that question. Maybe like something like a Giant Days. I just love everything about that art style, but it's really hard to pick one. And then my favorite project I've done so far, I'm not gonna lie, I love Moon Girl, but I really loved working on Adventure Time. It was just so much fun and so silly and wacky. It was such a fun time. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's all.
Did you have your second part of your question?
She got both.
Okay, she got both. Okay. Can you tell everybody how they can follow you on social media?
Sure. You can find me on Instagram at Asia_Simone405. So that's ASIA_SIMONE 405. That's pretty much the only place I go to. You can find my website is asiaillustration.com. And then if you email me, my email is asiasimoneblack@gmail.com.
Awesome.